everyone. This is Designer K. This is something new that we are starting today. If you know me, I have hosted Design Dialogues talk show, but this is something new and interesting that we are doing. This is a group of designers discussing about a design topic, everything in and around a design topic. So today we have a couple of my teammates who would be talking about this interesting topic, which is going to be accessibility. We will talk about accessibility in design and everything in environment that we can cover all the aspects of accessibility. So let me introduce you all to my teammates. Here is Probin and Kripali and Robin. Welcome, you guys. I hope this is going to be an insightful and fun session for everyone.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
We hope so.
Okay. I think people already know me by now. So I want you all, you are like new faces. I want you all to introduce yourself a little bit so that everybody will know the GeekyAnts Design Team.
Okay.
Let's
Want to
start.
go ahead first, Robin?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Robin. I work as a UX designer, UI UX designer. I like football, basketball,
Shit.
and I like movies a lot. So most of my reasonings will come from movie side as well. So that's majorly.
Great.
Hi everyone. Kripali here. Came show. Okay. I am also UI UX designer at GeekyAnts, and I don't know what to say. I hope this podcast could be a good
Will
fun.
relax you.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping.
Yes, you, Probin?
Okay, I am Probin. I'm a lead designer at GeekyAnts here, where we are currently set up at. And I've always been very fond of design. I've done my design course as well, which is not at all related to what I'm doing right now. It was mostly into interiors and architecture and also product design. Yeah, but everything that fascinates me is all over. So everything is design to me.
Same for me. Same for me. I like to copy paste the same introduction for me as well.
Awesome. It's really nice to have you guys in the show. So to begin with, let's now make the the audience understand from the basic, what exactly is accessibility? Any one of you can start.
Okay. There are people confuse accessibility with different terms like names, usability, or maybe inclusivity, accessibility. There are a lot of things. It confuses people a lot. What I know is that accessibility is something related to disabled people. That disability could be permanent, temporary. If you remember, I had a talk last year. I gave a workshop, right? So I talk about different types of disability. So it's not only people who have the permanent disability. It could be anyone. If a lady is pregnant, for them it's like a disabled. She's also temporarily disabled, right?
Yeah.
So my understanding is people who is struggling to do some kind of activity. It's like disability, and then for them we have to do something
to basically provide solution for the problem, temporary problem that they face. Okay. Yeah, what's your take on that? I mean, what do you have to say about accessibility?
But people tend to it's again my understanding what accessibility is. People tend to see disability as the only factor, while it is majorly for disabled people. If you're seeing accessibility in that case, but let's say I had mentioned this earlier when we were discussing, right? It's not exactly accessible for a normal person like you and me to have a button on a phone screen, to have it on the top right corner instead of having it on the bottom, right? So in that sense, while we are not disabled, it's not accessible. So the button is not accessible to us, is what I feel. I can be wrong. We can obviously have a debate or an argument also on that.
Isn't that where the point comes where we separate this accessibility with usability?
Usability. Yeah.
So how would you differentiate that? specific?
I think disability is very specific to people who are disabled.
Accessibility.
Sorry, accessibility. I'm sorry. Okay, so suppose, like, if you look, like, just to go back to where we have started about like accessibility, if you look at people like who are currently present in this world, there are like billions of them, right? And people who actually needs accessibility, they're often ignored. Why? Because they're like billions of people, and they're only like very small percent of people who are disabled. Say maybe less than 10, right? You might think it's very less. Like if you just look in, I think it's lesser than 5% also, like people who are actually disabled, right? But if you look at in numbers, it's in millions. You still have to provide to like million of people who are disabled, right? So I think it's very important for anybody to consider disability, like not only ignore other people, but also people who are like 5%. Even that they need to be included within the entire term of accessibility. So that's important. And also coming to the point where we separate between accessibility and usability, I think accessibility is very specific to disabled people only, but usability may also include us in general, like people who are very common to the entire world.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's another term called inclusive, right?
What I feel is accessibility is something which depends on the technical aspects of any product, and usability is the satisfaction that we are able to provide the user when they are performing a particular task. So
but how can you say, like, not I should rephrase it, but what I'm asking is what kind of satisfaction are you expecting? Like,
accessible is basically a goal. For example, they should not have any barriers in the pathway where they're trying to reach a particular destination, right? But when it comes to usability, it is how the experience is being so well given to the users, how satisfied they are, if they're happy, if they're sad, or if they're frustrated by using that application.
For example, laptop is that, right? So if you have a bad keyboard, right, you feel that there is a problem, right, in this laptop itself. So that's a usability. But if someone who is not even able to click on the keyboard, for them it's like accessibility issue, right? So this is like how you differentiate, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Also adding to the numbers part, right? So in India, we have like 1.36 billion people's population, and based on the research, right, there are 2.2% of people who are in some or the other way disabled. So if you look at the numbers, it is 29 million people. Like you said, if you look in the percentage, it might we might ignore it. Like, it's okay. We'll focus on the normal users first, and then we can get back to this particular segment of users who are disabled. But I feel focusing on these accessibility principles, whatever we see, like having a clear and concise language, or descriptive text, and legible typography. These are the principles of accessibility, which not only helps the people with disability, but for also other people, right?
Yeah.
So
I agree. I mean, sorry. So, like I went to a summit called India Inclusive Summit. So over there, that summit was only for people who were disabled or something, and it was an invite-based summit. So I got an opportunity to visit that summit, and over there, almost 90% of people were had like some issues. I don't want to say disabled because they don't like the word disabled. They say that we are not disabled. Like, you have given us a term as a disabled. We should not call it as a disabled people. Okay. So over there, I saw people were struggling to click on the keyboard. People were struggling to open their mobile phone also. Like, I saw that one video where a girl is using her mobile with nose. Just not. For them, clicking on keyboard is an achievement. Like, only one key, you have to just click on it. It's an achievement. And over there, people were talking about talking with sign languages, hand gestures, And actually, I went alone, and I saw over there, like I felt, different in that environment. I was like, why I'm not able to understand, like just imagine like how they feel, right?
Right.
So then I really got very, very inspired. Okay, this is like, it might look like 1% or 2%, but
Yeah.
it's too much. It's like very frustrating for us. It's like, if I'm not able to understand their language, for them too, it's very, very frustrating, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a really a time to work on the solutions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Robin, you had something to say.
She pretty much covered it, honestly.
Is there any general language that every disabled people uses? Like every kind of disabled people, like you have mentioned about sign language, right?
Mhm.
But is there any other language where they communicate with each other?
Language,
certain
what
mode?
do you mean by language?
Any kind of
We're
languages?
talking about the spoken word, is what you're saying?
No, that is
No,
one
no,
way,
that
but there's
is-
all sign language, right?
Huh.
But if
Hey, that is a
all
substitute
this-
for spoken word.
yes, but if there are people who are of different groups, say suppose if somebody is disabled completely with no arms or anything, right? How will they communicate? Or if even if they don't have ability to speak or to say something, how will they communicate with other people?
So different. So let's talk about different types of disability for that, right? Uh, there are 4 types. One is like vision. Second one is motor. Third one is
Hearing.
Can guys help me?
Hearing disability.
Hearing, and fourth one is cognitive.
Yeah.
Okay. Each one of them has a different kind of way to communicate with each other. If someone who has a vision disability, they have the sign languages, right?
Mhm.
I'm using the correct one. Yeah, sign language.
For
No.
visual, it's braille.
Brains.
Brailles.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, brailles. Then for hearing,
Sign
there's
language.
sign language. Yeah. Then for motor, I don't think so.
I think for motor, I think people who cannot have I think there is a text to speech or a thing.
Yes.
Not text to speech, but basically voice commands where they could command the entire. Is there like a tech like that?
There is
Correct.
text-to-speech.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's also new technology where they use like how Apple does on the watch, right? They access to certain devices through their like nerves, right? What do you call that?
Pulse?
Yeah,
Not
so pulses
pulse
or
exactly.
through nervous
Pulse.
system basically.
Have they developed that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'm not sure because
You can
pulse
probably
is
like you
basically.
can pinch and you can like navigate on your Apple device, like watches or other devices.
I've not heard.
Yeah.
They are fancy disabled terms like that.
We'll have to check.
Yeah. And also like I have seen that there are a lot of people who would like to help. If you are not able to help, like as a designer, we can maybe help through the design, but there are other people who wants to just help. Like they actually learn sign language to help other people, which is also like a great thing, right? I saw like in that summit, I saw that like there was a lady sitting right next to me, and I was talking to her like what she's doing. So she's saying that I'm learning. I don't remember the word, but she's learning that sign language just so that she can help people. Like she's taking a course and giving course to people,
Yeah.
which is like so good, right?
Yeah.
Like I have never seen someone who is like taking a course specially for this, right?
I've seen restaurants around Bangalore. I think there are 2 or 3 restaurants in Bangalore who hire people who are disabled, basically who have mostly hearing
Yeah.
aid.
Hearing, and I've heard of people with people who are on the spectrum also, like Down syndrome or autistic
Right.
people.
There are people, the restaurants who have like dark pitch restaurant also, so that you experience what actually blind people feels in
is it?
pitch black.
That's so good.
And they basically communicate with how they want you to. So suppose if you go to a restaurant where they only have people with hearing aid, they have menus with sign language stated on it. So there's menu of food,
Oh,
but they also have sign language on how to order this. But basically, trying to communicate with the restaurant people who's working there, and also empowering them in a way, because often they are ignored, right, at certain fields.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, even as simple as news channels or even concerts,
Hmm.
there are people that I've seen news channels, at least in my home state, where um, while the news reporter is reading, there is this one person who is always translating it to sign
Yeah.
language, right? We've seen that in
Hmm.
concerts where the lyrics are being translated
Right.
in sign language. So it's not exactly in the interface part where accessibility is there, but it's
Yeah,
throughout
true.
throughout the internet.
It's as designers, it's important for us to understand these numbers or do the research in order for us, as you said, it's us designers who can help these kind of people by doing, because we are designers, we design so many products every single day, work on so many products. So there are so many designers who are doing that. If we consider the population, and I also read this according to the last Digital India Act proposal. Back in 2000s, there were 5.5 million people who were able to access internet. But as of today, the number has increased immensely, which is 850 million people. By this,
Oh, nice.
by this we can understand how much of exposure has been given to people, and everybody is able to access internet today, right? So if we understand, along with that, if we understand who are the people who are using our applications and how are they going to use it, it is going to help us a lot more to focus on those kind of people and make it very accessible for them, right?
Yeah.
For me, I feel accessibility, I want to compare this digital experience with physical experience. Like you said, accessibility is everywhere. For example, if I want to compare, I can compare it to the road systems, right? So we have road systems where it helps us to commute from one place to another. It's the same way for the digital products or online experience as well. So that is basically a virtual marketplace where your users are able to, browse, navigate, explore from one place to another place. So the barriers that whatever they face in between, right, while they are reaching to a particular destination, those are the issues that we have to address.
Yeah. Actually, I have started, working on accessibility since last year. So I make sure that whenever I create a product, like when I create a visual design or something, I make sure that I check the color contrast. I check whether we have the accessibility
Tools.
not tools, but
Plugins.
no, we have that A
Guidelines.
plus
The
guidelines, right? It's not called guidelines. I don't
Yeah.
remember the name, but
WCAG.
yeah. So I make sure that I try to see that whether it's reaching to that point or not. Should I have to change font or maybe color? I have pinned those tools on the bookmark.
We have a lot of Chrome extensions.
Yeah. So I make sure every time I create, I need to check it. Like at least I can give my bit to this world, right? So I have done a project on accessibility, and I have created a page where it's only for the people who can use that place. Like we had added keyboard keyboard functionality. They can use the keyboard. Then we had added contrast ratio, then I think those 2-3 things we had added, and it was a great experience. Before starting, we were not sure what to add, how to make sure that they are able to use it, right? If they come to the website, we don't know, those people don't know whether it's accessible or not. So we had to make sure that they come to the page and they know that we have this functionality and all those things, like little things we added in that page. And I think it was a great experience for me.
I think color contrast plays a major
Major
role here,
role.
right?
Yeah.
I think first of all, it's very important for us as a designer to educate people first. Many people, they ignore accessibility. They don't even know what accessibility is, even if it exists. Like, for example, I've worked with a client who knows that this color looks good on certain screen. And then when we told him that fails with the color that he's using and then the text that he's using on top of that, He's like, it still looks good, so we'll just use this. So hard for us to explain them why
Yeah.
we need them, right?
But then, how did you explain?
So we have to explain them from a layman's term, like how I did, that there are people who are disabled. You have to include them as well,
But
and they kind of
Yeah, do you think we should add accessibility like in each and every project or something like basic thing we
yes,
can
yes.
use,
No,
right?
I think we will have to. You can't ignore people,
Yeah,
right?
like color
You never know.
contrast and
It's
all
like
we
you
can
have
do
to
it.
start at
Yeah.
the early stage. The earlier you start, the better it is.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's how it spreads like to the world. At least start somewhere.
Yeah.
If it's only with the color, I think that's the basic thing, right? Checking color contrast between what we use on the background and the foreground on certain UI elements. It's very important for anybody to be able to read it on the screen.
Yeah.
Also,
I had a not doubt exactly, but this will come under the third part of accessibility. But let's say I wanted to confirm if this is a disability or not, right? Let's say I am creating an application for basically for the locals of Karnataka, right? And we have made it the entire application in English. So will that count as a disability towards the local people?
no, that's not disability. There's another term called inclusive design.
Yeah, inclusive design,
Right?
correct.
Inclusive design is a part of accessibility, but it relates with accessibility, but it's not a complete disability because they are limited in their own region, right?
Right.
So what inclusive basically means is that you include everyone in under an umbrella, right? So basically, you include people from local community, global community, and then make them understand of certain things that you want to communicate.
Right.
And that is where it comes in, where probably if a local people speaks Kannada or Tamil, basically make them understand on a certain thing that you want them to understand. So probably when you're making an app, instead of using English that you generally do, you probably use their language as well, or give them a language options that you
Right.
can use their language, local language, to communicate certain things.
Yeah, inclusivity.
Also, fun fact: do you know what Ali is? Ali. Accessibility is called Ali.
Yeah.
A11Y. Do you know why is it?
A11Y.
Yeah, accessibility. It's called Ali basically, right? Do you know why is it called Ali?
Nahi.
So
Can I wild guess?
yeah, just give
I
it
don't
a
know.
guess.
11 11 can be the number of disabilities that are recognized by an organization.
Good guess, but okay.
So close.
11, maybe there are 11 pointers that we really need to take care of. I don't know, I'm just.
Good. Okay, but no. Do you want to guess? Like a wild guess?
I don't know if I can guess this, but is it?
Related to any location?
11.
Things, sir.
11, she's special.
I have the filmy one here.
She's specially disabled. I think that concept, I don't know.
No, it's because of. Okay, first of
Is it related to location or something?
no, it's nothing that technical. It's very simple. Ali basically means accessibility, where A is the first letter and Y is the last letter, right? Accessibility, and everything that comes in between are the total count of the alphabets. So there are like 11 alphabets in between A and Y.
Exactly, yeah, correct.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're cheating.
It is simple, but
Yeah.
I think I got very deep into certain things.
I started thinking about
It's-
Stranger Things 11.
चलो मेरा थोड़ा तो close थोड़ा.
Okay. Also, I feel it's important to give that educate people. So basically, as you said, if we learn by ourselves by reading all these guidelines, right? We have a lot of guidelines and we have a lot of tools. Like in your workshop, you also mentioned about this wave extension, Chrome extension, which will actually show you, if you open it for a website, right? It will show you with the arrow marks, with the color contrast, what exactly is missing here. The navigation part is not right, or the color contrast is not matching. Everything, right? I think it's important for us to also start with that, because not just about this ethical point of view or experience point of view, it's also important to think about the business point of view, right? So like mostly people consider, if we talk to a client, they say we'll first target the normal users and we'll leave out the other sector. So basically, your repelling those customers who are ready to pay for your product or ready to buy your product. It's like you're losing money also, right? And you, by categorizing them as, it's okay, we can do it later. I think that should be changed. There should be a shift in a designer's mindset. It shouldn't be sounding like a task that अरे मुझे ये करना है.
Yeah, it has to be that.
It has to be there. So then what happens, that shift in mindset will be like, okay, I am helping the users in some or the other way. We are designers who are problem solvers. So we have to address these from the start of the project or any work that you're doing, right?
Yeah. I have heard that. I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but in US, it's compulsory to have some percentage of accessibility. Like they have to pass that accessibility ratio. In India, I'm not sure about that, but
I actually was going through your workshop slide today morning, and the link that you put where it said Indian, accessibility guidelines. I opened it. There was nothing. The page was not found. That's how much of importance we are giving, I guess. So
that mindset needs to be shifted, I think, in that sense.
We should do this. We should do something at least.
We can pioneer it.
GeekyAnts Design Team has at least should do something.
But are there any
Like,
communities as such, which is based in India, who does?
I think the summit I went to, that the person who has organized that summit, he has his own son who is disabled, and then he thought to do something for this community, and then he started the whole summit. Okay, then a lot of people joined with him, and they have the community. That's why I got to know about the summit. So I got to know about some of my client, and then I got an invite. So there are communities, but and actually I talked to a few of them, and they said we don't want to have ads on social medias and all. It's like we are doing from ourselves, right? We don't want to show off on social media. We don't want to be famous. It's just that we just want to have a better future for our kids. That's what
it's not only about showing off, right? It's also about educating people. How would you educate that if it don't come like in front face? I'm sure there are.
But for them, it's like we just want to do something around our community. If you want to do it, if you want to educate it, there are a few other people who are doing that job.
Okay.
But they don't want to do it.
If a designer has to join those kind of community, what do they have to do?
I'm not sure about them, but we can create a community. I don't know about any other community in India. But we can have our own community.
Have a research from us.
Or maybe we should start actually. I'm very pumped.
Yeah, now that we talked about the numbers, we are sharing so many insights. It gives us that motivation to start, because we know that how India is getting digitalized so much, and we all know that India was the first country to introduce UPI, right? And that has exposed the digital era for all of our residents. So alongside, the government also is passing by some rules. Like I said, the what was that Digital Act, which I went through. It also has mentioned that it should be easier for the users to access this public services, the government sites and everything. So even they are coming up with addressing this accessibility thing, right? So I think it's high time that we should incorporate that in our work, so that it's not difficult in the future.
Yeah, I have a question. Like, if you want to do something like in your city, like in Bangalore, or something you want to do, what you want to do, like how do you want to impact?
Okay, probably this might not be related to just design, but just accessible thing. So this is based on my personal experience, right? So you know how annoying the Bangalore traffic is, right? So you see that happens mostly because of a lot of vehicles, but alongside there is another reason where when there are, I'm not sure if this is going to be controversial, but anyway, I'll talk about it. Have this big politicians who come on road and they're just passing by the road. What they basically do is they just block the road for the normal citizens, ordinary citizens. the roads are blocked and we have to stand there waiting forever for them to they have so many vehicles passing by one after the other. So that's one, I think, issue that we all will face, especially in city like Bangalore. In contrast to that, I had been to Chennai a couple of years ago, and it was a completely different experience. Their road system is so well planned. I only visited Chennai. I'm only talking about Chennai. So their road system is so well planned that it's so wide enough, even though the officials are passing by, there is enough space for the ordinary citizens to move on with their tasks. There's no hassle.
Maybe is it because of less population? I'm not sure.
I think that also depends on planning, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
It is well planned. Like if you look at the Bangalore roads, it's very small, and on top of that, they want to block all the roads.
Okay,
and
so
there
if
are
you want to have a solution, like what you want to do for that?
Of course, like I said, we can have a planning which is similar to the, Chennai's road system. Not just Bangalore, any people, any city can take this up. I'm not sure about the traffic and other.
Or you could stop the politicians, let people go.
Exactly.
Let's try that.
Kaya will start.
You're responsible.
That I've been very inspired by is I've been brought up in Delhi, right? So in the metro, so there is this before the platform ends, there is this yellow line that the users cannot cross. That yellow line, they have done it in tiles that are on with different patterns, right? So that the blind people who are if they so that they don't fall off the platform, they can also get that understanding, and those tiles also lead to the exit as well. So while there is a tile, like the same pattern of tile near the platform, they have some how would I say, like road junctions we have, no similar design has been updated so that the blind people can follow them to the steps or to the staircase. Ideally it's very redundant to bring them to the stairs, but probably to the lifts or something.
But then how do they know it's like lift or it's an exit?
Exactly. So
exit
that is
road?
something that we'll have, like that design may have faltered.
Yeah,
Also?
maybe they have. We could have added some kind of sign that okay, this is like exit.
But then how will the blind person know?
They have this. What do they say?
Braille
system or something.
It's it's again won't that be a bit difficult for them to always go down and touch the
Not go down
because
maybe.
Braille is primarily the hand focused, right?
No, I've seen Braille on footpaths also.
Okay.
So they basically have blocks, like
Okay.
how Lego works. I think we have spoken about this offline also. But they have tiles specifically made for Braille people,
Okay.
where it basically extrudes out
Right.
the kind of tiles. Basically tells you like this is the end point of it. There's a certain extent to this for the entire part.
So, as this is again very limited understanding of Braille that I have, Braille has some patterns also.
Yeah,
So
that's that.
it will be difficult for them to have a stick and then follow the because what they do, what I've seen in movies and all, right, but they have fingers are the main source of their understanding of what the letter is, right? So having Braille to say that
But they
this
also
is
have
like,
You
sense,
don't
right?
do that.
They have sense of certain things which comes in front of them.
Probably,
They have walking
probably.
stick to sense certain things which is in front of them. It's
How do
oncoming
we
traffic.
create that stick in a way that
that is
wow, right?
probably
More motivated.
Yeah.
that's that.
What about you? What you want to change?
I think I'll go to very basic. I'll probably educate people. Or maybe as a designer myself, I would try to educate, which I think we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I would go to every designers, tell them what accessibility is first of all, because most people ignore it. Most designers ignore it. And I'll tell them how to use it. There's certain points to it of what they can do to check accessibility on their designs. So probably just check with color contrast, which is the very basic one for all devices. Then probably check responsive, because even that's important. Yeah. I'll just
Yeah,
do the very
that's
basic
another
ones.
thing where we are designing it for all the different devices, right? We are not just limiting to one device. We are ignoring the old phones, but people have limited access to that, and they are not able to access because of the because of your limitation that you are not designing it for other devices, right? Example are these voice user interfaces now. So even though that is basically an understanding of accessibility. Even though I'm doing something, you're driving a car, but you still want to make a call. You want to look at the map. You tell the Google or Alexa, or, all these devices, they will respond to you. They will help you back, right? So while even you're engaged with a particular activity, you're still getting your work done. For example, I use this. I am cooking and I want to set a timer. I don't want to open my phone with those messy hands and set it. I just tell Alexa to set a timer for 10 minutes and she does it. So that is accessible, right? I think we need go on.
And but I want to ask you, like, will you go to each and every person and just say, "Acha, use, like, do this and do that"?
Again, very basic. Whoever comes across my at least try to educate them first, or maybe create a community.
I don't think he'll go, hey, have you heard of this accessibility? This is thing that you have to do.
I'll just do a post. I'll just
Very biblical kind of thing.
I think we are doing it right now by talking so much
Exactly.
about
At least
accessibility.
within our community, like wherever
Yes.
we are involved in, maybe our design team or team that we come across with other communities in other companies.
You should talk more about, like,
Yes.
what I want to do is that, like, again, it's related to traffic and transportations kind of thing. I don't know. We all are talking about, like, we are
Because
so
that is the
passionate
problem.
about traffic.
No, it is
I
that
think
is
it's
the most
better we have something outside of UI things
Yeah.
because accessibility is a universal
Correct.
thing.
Universal. topic,
What
yeah.
I want to do is, like, this is what I have observed when I went to Canada. Over there, what I have observed is that for the transportation, like bus transport, they have a specific area for people who are disabled. It's not only for, like, people who have some physical disability, but it's for people who, like a lady who is pregnant. For them also, they have a specific seat over there. Okay. And nobody can sit over there. And even if this stops at any point, they have this, I don't know what it's called, steps that comes out of the bus for them. So it's like automatic. So this, which is like very, very handy, right? I want to include that in, at least in India. It's very basic, right? At least they can transport through, like, public transportation, right? They have to, like, otherwise they have to go to, like, cab, or they have to again book for that, and again for that also we have to add accessibility.
Yeah.
So at least transportation has to be, like, accessible for each and every person. It's like inclusive accessibility.
I think India should have a very strong guideline first of all.
Yeah.
They take things very lightly when it comes to accessibility, right? I think the guidelines where they say buildings has to have a ramp to for wheelchairs to go up.
Correct.
But I've seen stores which has ramp like at this angle. Do you think people can, like, climb up to it?
So it's like difficult to
Having fun, just shoot them up.
And I've seen at Starbucks. I think Starbucks does it in India also. They have, like, separate seating only for wheelchair. I've seen in PVR where they leave seats empty so that the wheelchair can fit in. I think that should be more global. It should be on many places. Yeah, I've seen
I've
in
seen
India.
I've never, the PVR thing I don't.
Yeah, even
I've seen in PVR.
a lot of movies.
I've seen.
I don't go to the accessible friendly theaters.
I have
It
seen
seems.
Redison Blue, like, where this summit was happening. The whole Redison Blue is, like, accessible. So that's why they had organized this event.
All right, great. It was really an insightful session. I had so much learning from you.
Audience, yes.
Yes. Yes.
More questions.
Yeah.
So, do you guys really feel that it should be one of our design principle that we should have the accessibility in place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
because
more
at
than
least
that,
it's there.
I feel more than having a principle perspective, I think the mindset of the designer should be already in there, is what I feel, because
How does this mindset comes in?
By doing the research, by understanding the target audience.
And practice also.
Exactly, like practice, like anything that is something new for me also, I'll need practice to make it a habit also.
Yeah. For
So-
example, if you're selecting a color, right, for a button or anything, just make sure that it's accessible. At least very basic, like start with color and then go with other things.
Or tell them you're not only designing for yourself, but also people
Yeah.
who are disabled.
Correct.
Just consider them.
Yeah, that's a
Even
good
if-
point.
The
Educate
standard
people.
that we have to have
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and it also should start from our research phase itself, like when we see our user persona, like who are the actual users of this application. So it should start from there. Do we define kind of how much percentage we have for disabled people, or how should it go there?
No, I think it's a necessity. We have to have it in all the projects. We just can't tell we're designing for people of certain category and we only design for them. We might come across other people also who will be using the same products. Say suppose Swiggy that we have, we might think we're only designing for people who orders food. But what if there are people who are like 80 plus or old people, right? We have to consider for them also.
Yeah, and also accessibility, the WCAG guidelines, they
Yes.
have 3 types of ranking, like A, AA, AAA. Okay, so we have to decide whether we should go with A or AA or AAA. So A is something very basic that everyone has to have, even in India or everywhere in the world. So that at least we can include.
I think AA as well. AA is
AA
very
also,
standard.
but at least A to should have.
Like how you were saying about a specific people that comes under AAA. AAA are designed for very specific kind of people only.
Yeah.
Like when we are working on healthcare projects, if we are focusing on the app which is used by the patients, then we need to consider that AAA thing where we are focusing on only this segment.
Also, we were speaking about WCAG guidelines, right? I've worked with WCAG 3.0 as well, which hasn't been released yet. It's for future use. But what happens in WCAG 3.0 is that when you check the color contrast, now what do? You check the foreground color, the background color, and then you check the contrast, right? But in WCAG 3.0, they basically also check the areas around it. So suppose I put a text on a background, they'll also analyze what are the texts around it, like around that particular text, and
The
then
negative space.
they'll give you a rating based on that.
It was supposed to be published by
Yeah,
last
but I think
year.
they're still under research work.
Acha, okay. Cool.
No, it's okay if they're taking time. It's better like
It has
safe
to
than
be.
sorry,
It
though.
has to
No?
be.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Okay, we are
Awesome.
done.
I think it was a really insightful session. I got to learn a lot from you guys.
Likewise.
Same here, like exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights on accessibility. I'm sure we are using it in some or the other way, but like we discussed, it is important for us to include this in our everyday, work.
Practice, yeah.
It just should be like a process of design, not a task, right?
And
All
also
right.
educate people.
Yes, also educate people. We'll conduct more podcasts like this and talk about more topics so that we can educate a lot of people. And
Let's do this.
yes,
It was good. When she clapped, I was okay. Let's finish this off.
thank you so much for joining us today. I hope to see you all next in the next episode. Signing off by Designer K.
Cut.
Bye.
Ooh.